Hello, everybody. Today, we are going to talk about keeping intimacy alive through and after a cancer diagnosis. Um, it is very common for people to not even think about this, especially once they get a cancer diagnosis. That kind of consumes your whole world, right? So let's talk about some different changes that you're going to probably see, and some of these things are also due to age as well. So, changes for women that occur is vaginal dryness, pain during sex, inability or having a difficult time orgasming. Sometimes you'll get numbness in the vagina, a loss of libido, and early menopause can happen due to some of the treatment methods. And some of the changes that occur in men are pain during sex, loss or decrease of libido, premature ejaculation, urination during ejaculation, and also the inability to maintain or get an erection. So, a lot of these issues start creating body image problems on top of everything. So let's say you don't have a loss of desire for sex, but your body is having all of these physical symptoms where you can't even feel like you can have sex the way you did. That's pretty detrimental, I would think. But is sex really on someone's mind during cancer diagnosis? And sometimes it's the last thing, and that's completely acceptable. Um, if you go from having a very intimate sexual life with your partner and then it goes from kind of 100 to zero, that can take a toll on you and it can take a toll on your partner. For others, maintaining that intimacy and that sex life, it's important. But like I said previously, you might have that desire to continue, but your body just isn't listening and it's not really reacting the way that you want it to react. So, who can you talk to about intimacy issues? There's a whole list here. Um, I wouldn't assume that your doctor will discuss it with you just because you guys have a ton of other things to discuss, right? So you have your treatment plans, you have how you're going to maintain your home life, what kind of drugs you need, how your body's reacting. So this is kind of like the last man on the totem pole. If anybody has conflict in their marriage or partnership during treatment due to lack of intimacy, I do think that you should speak with somebody about these issues. Maybe your doctor is somebody who you can go to immediately because you already have that rapport with them. If you have a nurse that you constantly see during your treatment, maybe, pulling her or him to the side and asking if there's any suggestions. You can find sex therapists on, if you Google it, you can usually find one in your area. You can have a social worker. Sometimes a social worker will be assigned to your case at the hospital or clinic, wherever you're at. So sometimes they might be a good resource. Or if you already have a therapist or counselor, they would be a good option to go to as well. And your care team is there for you in all aspects. So if this is something that is very concerning to you, it's definitely worth the time to try and fix it. So let's talk about the stages of a sexual response. Everybody goes through it. Everybody goes through it through all ages. So this is not something that just begins when you get diagnosed with a long-term illness. Um, these are desire, arousal, plateau, orgasm, and resolution. So I think that some people lose that desire to have sex, their libido's gone, due to the drugs, due to the stress. I mean, stress is a huge indicator of how our bodies react and how they work. I mean, If you're stressed, the last thing on your mind is probably, being intimate with your partner. And then if you lose that desire, of course, the things following it, arousal, plateau, and orgasm, they're not going to be there. You might get to resolution because you might go to your partner and say, hey, I love you. I want to be with you, but right now my body just isn't responding the way I want to. And I think that's a really important conversation to have, especially, a partner can feel very helpless, and they also have desires and needs themselves. And while a lot of caretakers and partners put themselves on the back burner, sometimes they can feel unloved when there used to be a lot of physical intimacy and now there is none. So let's take a look at what hormones do to you. So for the men, you have the androgens. Everyone knows it is testosterone. Some men take testosterone pills. Some don't want anything. A lot of cancer treatments, especially ones regarding the prostate, do involve testosterone blocking drugs, which is going to cause a loss of desire and a loss of reaction. This also just happens naturally, right? So as we age, these hormones are not produced as much. So if you are experiencing this, you can go to your doctor. I believe there are testosterone pills that you can take or injections. And maybe that can help boost your sex drive. For women, there's estrogen and progesterone, and these are the female sex hormones. Most people don't really know too much about what they do. Progesterone makes sure when you're ovulating, it makes you want to keep the baby, right? So when you get out of the ovulation cycle, when you start to hit early menopause, progesterone is not created as much because there is no reason for it since the eggs are gone. And some cancers, especially hormonal cancers like breast cancer, can cause you to go into early menopause because that is part of your treatment. You're trying to block these hormones that are creating the cancer or cancer inducing. So that is where these roles play. So a lot of times it could be because of your treatment, but also this stuff happens naturally. So this is not an abnormal thing in the world. Sometimes, a lot of the times it's just kind of sped up when you get a diagnosis. So loss of desire is extremely common. As I said before, it happens naturally. A lot of us have to work at making sure that we are checked in with ourselves and with our partner. And if somebody is riding that wave of desire and the other isn't, let's have a conversation about that. You know, you might have a loss of desire just because of your treatment side effects. You have pain when recovering. Who wants to have sex when you're in pain? You have your hormone level changes. And also, let's talk about body image. We have a loss of confidence and self-esteem when we're going through treatment. For women, you lose a lot of the hair. That's a big deal to a female. Some people aren't that worried about it. I feel like a lot of people are. And you just don't feel your best. You feel like you don't look your best because you don't have the same energy you did. You might not be going out and about as much as you used to. You might just feel like you look run down and your body's going through a lot. So let's give yourself some grace. Good news is that it can and it will get better. And a lot of people after their treatment, they still might see symptoms for 6 to 12 months, but it's been reported that most people's libidos do return to where they were at prior to treatment, which is great. I think that it's still important to have the conversations with your partner, especially if either you or your partner is not feeling very loved or feeling like their desires are being taken care of. Um, it's still good to have that open communication and where to start talking or how to start talking to your partner about it. And you can always get checked. You can always get your hormones checked at with your doctor. For example, like we spoke about earlier about testosterone, they can take the levels and see kind of where you're at. I mean, it's not uncommon for your libido to start decreasing. So if you feel like you went through cancer treatment and you used to have a high libido previously and it's just kind of not getting to where it's at, or you're still having dryness or having problems keeping an erection, go and talk to your doctor, get checked, advocate for yourself. What else can help you? Aiming for a good night's sleep, eating a balanced diet, exercise. These are all tried and true forms of not only helping you with your mental health, but also helping you with your physical health. It can help you with your mental state. A lot of people, if they're having body image problems, this will help them feel better about themselves because you're doing something, right? Even if you're not able to do what you did prior to your diagnosis, you're still trying, and that creates a lot of good hormones in you. You can ask about the medications. You can, I think, also being open to new ways of receiving and giving pleasure is a big deal as well. You have to be able to adapt, right? So you need to be able to talk openly, share those concerns about being intimate, tell them when you're ready to have sex and what level of intimacy. Do you just want some cuddling? Do you want to try oral stimulation? You don't have to go to the full to full penetration. Some people have had a good sex life but have never spoken openly about it before because it might feel too awkward, and you might be really tempted to avoid it, but these talks can really help. And sometimes it's starting off with an easier topic is better. So like asking your partner how they're feeling, keeping the spotlight off of you. Your partner might be worried about hurting you or appearing too eager, especially if they've seen you kind of just tired. They don't want to ask you for intimacy because like you're already exhausted. They don't want to put that on you. And sometimes people avoid all contact because they don't know how much touch is okay. So you can help satisfy your partner by exploring what they want and what you're able to do. You can do that by exploring yourself with self touch. You can take it slowly. It might be easier to start with cuddling or a sensual massage rather than a penetrative sex. Of course, talk about it before so you kind of both know where your limits are and what you're trying to do. And you can always withdraw that consent. A lot of people find many things improve with communication, time, and practice. I think too, it's important to plan ahead. While there's always the big taboo of don't schedule sex, that makes the fire and intimacy go out the window in a relationship. But um in these situations it is a good thing, because if you have vaginal dryness, you need to be able to get vaginal lubricants. If you have any erection devices, make sure you have that. If you have incontinence or any stomas, it's a good thing to plan for those as well. So thinking about timing your medications, some might reduce the pain and make you feel more comfortable to have sex, or they may make you feel sleepy and not want to be intimate. So actually kind of timing intimacy out with your partner is going to be helpful. It's going to help raise that desire that everyone's striving for. And how you used to enjoy having sex, it may now be more difficult, or it might not be possible. That's always in the cards too. And it can be really upsetting. It can be really frustrating, and you're not alone. I think that anybody would feel very frustrated, but most people can find a satisfying new option. So keep an open mind about ways to feel sexual pleasure. It might be that you have to explore different erogenous zones, such as, you know, touching your neck or your arm or the inner thigh, or your ears. You can do mutual masturbation. You can do oral sex, personal lubricants. There's vibrators. There's different sex toys. There's different sexual fantasies. A lot of these things aren't spoken about regularly. And I think that they need to be. I mean, that's going to improve desire, libido, and intimacy within your partnership always. And you also want to focus on other aspects of your relationship, not just your sex life. Many relationships don't depend on sex, which is great. And you may or may not see sex as being important, but either way, it's helpful to talk about how you and your partner feel about your sex life and work out any differences that you might have. You can spend time together doing the other things you enjoy, which can also bring you closer. If you have always been an outdoorsy person, maybe going out to the woods for a walk, something that isn't very strenuous, something that isn't going to make you so tired that you don't want to do it again. Sex isn't the only thing, it's not the only way that you can show affection. Everybody has a different love language, right? So if your partner likes a clean house, maybe tidying up, it's always about what you are able to do, and also what your partner enjoys, and also what you enjoy. And that can help take the pressure off your sex life, because there are different ways to share intimacy. Stress and anxiety make it really, really, really difficult to feel in the mood for intimacy. So it sounds silly, but always making time for meditation or like a mindfulness practice to help you relax in the moment with your partner is a good idea. You can also go and get a massage maybe earlier, if that helps you relax, if that helps you relieve your stress. I mean, there's so many different apps now. There's so many different podcasts that provide these resources and can help you with your relaxation techniques. Home of Hope has different wellness and mindfulness programs that you can do. Um, and then lastly, like, seek assistance. If you feel like you've tried all of these steps, you can go and talk to your doctor. You can talk to your care team, your nurse, your therapist, and maybe they will be able to guide you in a way that you didn't think before. So I hope that this has been a kind of quick, helpful slideshow for you. If you have any other questions, absolutely reach out to Home of Hope. If this is something you want to talk about more of in a private matter, reach out to Home of Hope, and a client services coordinator will get back with you, and they will set up a meeting. So I hope you have a great day and enjoy your week. Thank you so much. Bye now.